Welcome to the Ramblers Corner podcast. That was Neco's remix of Treat Me by M Theory. It's Wednesday, April 29th, and this is Joe. I'm here with Matt and Jordan.
Episode 5.
Episode 5. We're on our way.
And Joe's back with us this week.
Yes.
A big welcome back to
Where'd you go, Joe?
Triumphant return. I was actually working.
Oh.
Couldn't make it out.
We get it. We see the priorities.
Yeah. You guys did all right without me, though. So.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we did all right.
Thanks again to Steve. I like that episode.
Yeah, huge thanks to Steve for filling in for me.
Yeah.
Haven't met the guy. Seems nice, though.
Yeah, good dude. Good dude.
Very good dude. Yeah. So who's watching the Mayweather-Pacquiao fight this weekend coming up? This Saturday, I think.
I know literally nothing about boxing, but I'll probably be watching it because I guess it's a big deal.
You don't have to know. I don't know shit about boxing either, but you know about the people. Pacquiao is this nice little Filipino dude. Everybody loves, like, he's the most likable guy on earth. And then Mayweather is just a big dickhead.
I know enough to watch two guys beat the shit out of each other in a ring. I know that much.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
Everybody's a UFC fan when they're at Boston Pizza and the fights are on.
Yeah, exactly.
But seriously, though, what side are we on? Jordan, what do you...
Pacquiao is a good fighter.
It's true.
He's a good fighter.
Is that your impression of like a 70s, like a 70-year-old boxing trainer in the corner?
Yeah.
Like Rocky's
He's a good fighter.
Get out there and take those jabs.
Yeah, I don't know much about either of the guys besides the fact that like Mayweather's a piece of shit. Like
he just like brags about all of his cars. He has 3 Bugattis, like one of the most expensive cars. He just buys shit because he thinks it's cool.
Isn't he like actually like insanely rich? Like,
well, he's making like over
$100
$100 million just off this fight. Like he agreed to do this fight only if he made, I think it's like 60-40 split. So
I hope he loses. I hope he loses that.
He had like a page long of terms to get Pacquiao to fight him. Pacquiao's just like, yeah, that's fine, I'll do it. I want Pacquiao to win, not only because I hate Mayweather, but I heard a story about Pacquiao that just blew my fucking mind.
Go ahead.
So apparently, when he was younger, he ran away from home and was homeless for a bit because his dad ate the family dog.
Wow.
His dad ate his dog, so he ran away and was homeless for a bit. So if that doesn't deserve to be the biggest dude in boxing ever,
so
I don't know.
Reasonable reaction.
On his time in the streets, do you think that he maybe met a homeless man that taught him?
Well, I know he went pro by 14.
Oh wow, definitely.
Jesus Christ.
And now he's like one of the best,
like raw talent right there
for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just hate Mayweather. That's the only reason I want Pacquiao to win. I don't know anything about boxing. I just want to see Mayweather fucking lose finally.
You
I
guys
bet it was something like that scene from You Got Served where they play Anxiety and they're like dancing in the rain.
Let's talk about You Got Served for a bit.
I'm not fucking talk about You Got Served ever again.
Yeah, but I don't know. Like, I really don't know anything. You guys probably know more than me. Who's like the favored to win? Like, I know.
Well, Mayweather's undefeated. He's like 40-something and 0.
Jesus.
He's like the fucking. But he's not an exciting boxer to watch. Like, he's really not.
Huh.
I really hope Pacquiao beats him.
We'll be watching.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we're going to be ordering it on pay-per-view this weekend.
Yeah, that'll be a good time
for sure.
Blasty blast.
Awesome. So what were you talking about, Jordan, on the way in? There's
that shit going on with Bud Light.
Enlighten me. Fill me in, man.
I haven't read up too much other than the fact that people are kind of pissed off, but...
Classic.
Well, people are always pissed off. Why don't you explain why they're pissed off, and we'll say whether or not they're justified.
So basically they printed a label for their beer. I don't know if I think it was just the bottles, but it basically just says... The perfect beer for removing no from your vocabulary for the night. Hashtag up for whatever. Ooh. And under that it says, the perfect beer for whatever happens.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Like, I kind of understand where they were going with that. Like, just, I feel like hopefully they were just intending it to be like, you know, like carefree, fun, like I'm down for anything. But just the way it sounds is so shitty.
I'm sure they just meant it as like, oh, it'll make you outgoing, and you'll always be like the guy who's like, yeah, let's do it, like the exciting one. But
maybe they meant it that way.
Don't they have dudes whose job?
I feel like the guy that like thought it up was like, oh,
he must have recognized.
You think nowadays company would just have like a rapey consultant that's like, no, that's kind of rapey.
Yeah, like
and
that's a little bit rapey.
Like,
I'm gonna be
alcoholic beverages.
Yeah, no, it's not a good label that you want to have. Is like you're gonna get blackout drunk kind of thing.
Fucking Bud Light.
Whatever happens, you got Bud Light.
That's a huge mistake of an advertisement, I'd say, and like companies do that all the time where they just like majorly choke. But like stuff like that, it's like when they pitched that idea at the meeting, which like that idea must have gone through like 30 guys at least, and no one stopped and was like, just so you guys know, like this is very rapey.
Yeah, no one thought it was rapey. That just means the whole company's probably a little bit rapey. They're like, I don't see what's wrong with that.
It's Bud Light, man. It's like the lowest common denominator of beers.
They
Like
drink light beers so they can stay focused when they're
raping.
rape people.
I'm not like a beer snob, but it's like Bud Light to me is like you can't tell me that's a good beer.
Yeah.
It's like,
And okay, let's talk about another thing that had people pissed off. You were telling me about this at work the other day. The lobster restaurant.
Oh, the
by you,
panel.
dude.
I don't know a thing about
We
this.
had a great discussion about this.
gotta fill me
and
in.
I just want. Okay, Jordan.
I wasn't present for this.
So basically, back home where I'm from, there's a little restaurant, like maybe 10 tables. It's just a really nice like
Tiny.
lobster restaurant. Everyone goes there, right on the waterfront next to the Newfoundland Ferry. Basically, I don't know what brought him to post this, but the owner of the restaurant posted a Facebook status on their page that just pretty much said, we're an adult restaurant and we don't really cater to people with screaming children in the restaurant.
All
And
right.
all this stuff. And it caused an uproar. Small town drama.
Classic.
Just everyone ripping apart this restaurant.
All
which-
10 citizens were very pissed off.
Yeah, which
No,
was-
didn't it go like viral? Like, wasn't
it
like
went
people...
viral, yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
jeez.
Fuck off.
as far as I know, like, it got on Dr. Oz. Dr. Oz spoke about it.
He's a dickhead.
I don't want to talk about Dr. Oz because it'll just be like 45 minutes of me ranting about how much of a piece of shit that guy is.
Yeah, like it just blows my mind. Like, you know, it's small town drama. Anyone will look for any reason.
Yeah, I don't-
to get pissed off when you're in a small
Like,
town.
I'm not trying to discredit your story, but it's like I don't actually understand why they're pissed off. Like,
I don't care if like a small town people get mad there, people live there. That's fine, man. Like whatever. Maybe if you brought your kids there and now you don't feel welcome, yeah, sure, that's fine. Piss you off.
Yeah.
But for it to go viral and for people to being like, oh my god, you're discriminating against children and all this shit. If somebody owns a business and they have their life savings and their life's work into this, if they don't want screaming kids in their fucking establishment, then don't I don't see the problem. I don't see why that makes you an asshole.
from like a PR standpoint, I'd say it was a bad move. Definitely, like it kind of paints you as like not a nice guy. But it's like I completely understand. Like you own the business, you make the rules, right? Mm-hmm. Like barring like straight up like social justice concerns, like he really could have said any rule. Like
No, they weren't barring children. Children can still go there.
he's just saying
just
that like
like
it's not intended for
Screaming
children.
children, we don't want.
I
And it's like
I
Nobody
hate
wants screaming
Yeah, I
children.
hate screaming children at restaurants.
Another thing is, like, a couple years back, I remember when I was a bit younger, I remember hearing about a story from the same restaurant where a kid was choking and the staff saved his life. And then, like, the whole staff was, like, helping out and just making sure everything
Well,
was
just
fine.
because he doesn't
like-
want screaming children there doesn't
it's-
mean he will let kids die. He's not obviously a fucking
At a
monster.
restaurant with, like, 10 tables, it's like,
I'm sure he's
how
not a
about
bad dude.
nobody screams? So we try to keep it on the low. And I just feel like it's kind of like you're wasting your breath when there's so many better things to talk about.
Yes,
I get that you
exactly.
want to like talk about your community and the big things that are going on when it comes to this kind of stuff. I get that, and you want to voice your opinion and make everything better. But
It just man,
It's irrelevant.
it
Yeah,
pisses
it's
me
just-
off, like the victim culture that we live in now, where as long
Yeah.
as you fucking whine about something, you get whatever the fuck you want. Really, like there is a lot better reasons, like that pizza place that wouldn't serve pizza to gay people. That guy's an asshole.
Yeah.
like
Oh,
that guy's a
man,
fucking
that
asshole.
completely ended up backfiring though. They got like donations, like outpouring of donations.
They shut down and started up. They did Kickstarter and they like made a shitload of
They
money.
got an
for
insane
being
amount of
a dickhead.
donations, which is like, I know you're not allowed to like shut down donations, but like, could no one have just been like, "This is fucking stupid. Stop donating money," and like
Well,
shut it down?
turns out if you're an asshole in the name of religion, then everybody's cool with it.
yeah.
I guess.
man.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's fucked up. It makes me sick. Just people
It's
fucking
it's
lying about
shocking, just
shit.
like how many companies we support that like do shit like that are like absolutely horrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't know. I hear about like companies doing horrible shit like that and like high board members, and it's like it makes me want to stop supporting them. But it's like there's just kind of a sense of apathy, you know.
Sorry, go
Did
ahead.
we talk about Starbucks that one time? There was something. I can't remember too much about it, but I think it was the CEO or somebody. It was somebody high up. They were talking about there were certain Christians that came out and they were like, this is a Christian establishment. A lot of our customers are Christian people, so we want to stop catering so much to like homosexual culture or something like that. Did you guys hear anything about
What
that?
the fuck does that even
Yeah, it was like
mean?
a big thing. There was
This is
like
what I mean.
a petition or something like that. I mean, like I've said, take this like with a grain of salt. I don't remember too much about it, but it was a while back. But like,
Yeah.
just like things like that, right? Like, really? Do
Like,
you really care that
if an ancient
there's
book
other
says it-
people getting the same coffee as you just because
Yeah.
you're a Christian? Like,
Yeah.
come on, man.
I don't know. I don't think that like the business world should really interact with like our personal values in any way. It shouldn't be like Starbucks is a Christian company and like this other thing is like a Jewish company. It's like companies are companies. They're there to make money. They shouldn't give a fuck about like what kind of person you are, right?
You don't discriminate against certain people, but screaming kids, nobody likes screaming
Don't
kids.
discriminate against like anyone. Like there really shouldn't be like any excuse. I understand the screaming kids thing though because it actually like influences the business itself.
Well,
like,
there's two
you're not gonna
sides to
enjoy
every
your
story
meal.
too.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Like,
true.
Who fucking knows? It could have been just some. And I don't know what was going on in the mother's life or the father's life that day, but I don't even know if he even made an attempt to quiet his child.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't even think that was mentioned anywhere. Like,
I don't know. It's
just like there's.
yeah, I've got sympathy for both sides. It's
Yeah,
like,
exactly, right?
I completely understand because like I have young children in my family and it's like sometimes they start crying and it's like you can't really avoid it, but you don't want to just not go to a restaurant for like 5 years and like babysitters are shitty, you know.
I'm sure even parents of screaming kids have at least debated drowning them once.
Oh God.
Been like, oh, fucking shut up.
No,
God.
kids are the coolest thing ever. Man.
Talking about something else. Excuse me. Talking about something else that seems kind of offensive in a strange way. I was reading an article, and so apparently in China, all these people that have gotten to money, like just people that building like huge luxury apartment complexes in the middle of nowhere. These are like ghost towns, like just huge like new cities filled with apartments that no one will buy, like it's empty. So apparently what they've started doing is the owners of these buildings have started hiring foreigners to come to these like events that they throw to try to attract business for these apartments, and they started paying white people to just show up. And apparently if there's no like white people and like foreigners that like appear to live there, then Chinese people don't want to live there.
Oh, that's
What's
interesting.
offensive about it is not only are they paying white people to show up and just be like, see, our apartments are great, but they pay more for white people to show up than for black people to show up. That is pretty shitty.
See,
That's
once
a
again,
shitty
it's
thing.
like I understand from a business standpoint. Same thing with the screaming kids. It's like if white people have a better effect at like pulling people in, I understand why you would pay more. But then also, it's just a piece of shit thing to do because it's like you're discriminating based on race 100%.
Yeah, it seems fucked.
I do. Yeah, I get your point as well.
Yeah, like I'm not trying to like justify because obviously like it's not right.
Yeah,
to like
exactly.
change wages, but I think it's important to recognize the fact that like they probably weren't even thinking about like race at that point. They were just looking at it like completely logistically. Like white people tend to bring in more numbers, and it's like it's a bad way to look at things, but it's like corporations.
It's not very moral.
Yeah, exactly. But companies are there to make money, right? So sometimes companies will do like completely immoral shit
Yeah.
just because it's a better way to make money, right? It's more efficient, you know.
If all else goes wrong, I'm going to China and getting paid to appear
Yeah,
at things like
exactly.
a fucking celebrity. just
Stand
because
at an
I'm
apartment
white.
and be like, "Hi, I'm a white male. Here's an apartment.
yeah.
You could be a fucking hobo. and
Look
just
at my nice
clean you
blue
up for
eyes.
the day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My nice blue eyes and my blonde hair. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty
I
fun.
mean, and then also you gotta like, you gotta look at the people who actually look at it, and
Yeah.
they're like, oh, look at all the white people here,
Yeah, exactly. It's like it's. I feel like it says
That's so fucked.
less about the company.
and more about just humanity.
Yeah, more about the people who the company is catering to, because
Yeah.
That's true.
the company obviously recognizes what the people want to see, and the people want to see white people. So
man.
it's like the company is just meeting the needs of the people. But what kind of like fucked up guy sees a white guy at an apartment and is like, oh, he's white, that means this is a good apartment, I'm gonna stay.
Maybe it's like
I'm
a status symbol that like rich white people live there, so they're like, oh, that means if I live here, I'm fucking doing big things in my life.
Yeah, I know in a lot of places foreigners are just looked on like positively because it's like if you happen to be there, it means that you have the money to be there, you know what I mean? Because it's like you moved away from your homeland to live somewhere different.
Yeah,
Yeah, I suppose.
yeah, it makes sense.
Yep.
So we're gonna try something new. We've always been about just spontaneous, random discussions on this podcast, but we want to try out something recurring, something that we can kind of build off of. A little segment that we've discussed a little bit called Ancient Idiots.
Ancient.
So ancient. I guess the only prerequisite is that they have to be dead, and it happens.
Yeah, they just
it
gotta be
happened in a
dead.
time where this type of shit was normal.
See, 'cause you're allowed to make fun of stupid people after they're dead.
Yeah.
Because then, like, what are they going to do about it?
Yeah, fuck them. They didn't even have computers back then.
It's true.
Get at
Even
me
if
on
they were
Twitter,
here,
bitch.
they'd be too stupid to find us.
Okay, so on this week's segment of Ancient Idiots, this one is about
Dun-dun-dun-dun.
it was like the fucking Who Wants to Be a Millionaire theme. So this is about a guy. It was in 1852, and the article is titled "Drunk Zookeeper Dies from Cobra Bite to the Nose." So apparently, for breakfast, they all went out to the bar, and one of the new zookeepers got shit-faced on gin. And one of the zookeepers that worked with him said he saw him later in the day in the cobra pit grabbing snakes.
Just hanging out in the cobra pit.
So apparently this fucking drunk zookeeper in London it basically grabbed a cobra in the middle. So not even by the head, where it definitely can't bite. You just grabbed it in the
Steve
middle.
Irwin taught me you always grab by the head.
Grabbed it in the middle triumphantly like a torch and
That's what I teach most girls.
It's true.
put it under his trench coat. And the cobra apparently climbed outside of the trench coat, as cobras fucking do.
Of course.
And bit him 6 times on the nose and face.
Okay, at this point, I'm just more shocked about how he let 5 bites happen, and he was still just, like, not throwing the snake into the distance.
That must have been some good gin, man. So, yeah, apparently he went by cab to the hospital.
Of course. I wonder if they made him pay.
His face turned black on the way. His face turned black.
Jesus Christ.
And apparently he died in hospital because he was drunk and fucked with a cobra.
Tragic that he's dead, but goddamn, what an idiot.
What a dumbass.
Huge
Stupid.
mistake.
A new guy, too. He just wanted to be like the cool guy in the office. He's like, check this
definitely.
out. And then his face turned black and he died.
Snakes are actually, like, incredibly interesting things. Like, I was looking at them recently, just, like, the fact that they're so simple. But have you ever seen what actually happens if you, like, add snake venom to, like, a cup of blood?
It curdles it.
It straight up
It turns into
solid.
it looks like Play-Doh or something.
It's
fucking
horrifying, because imagine that happening inside your own body is, like, insane.
Well, there's different types of venoms too. Like
Yeah.
some snakes have venom that just causes like intense pain and kills cells in the wound.
Yeah.
But then some venoms like cause your heart to stop. Some venoms cause like a bunch of misfires in your brain, and
Yeah.
it's scary, man. Snakes are
Neurotoxins.
fucking.
Yeah, snakes are very cool, though. They're, like, extremely agile creatures. They're very interesting looking.
And most of them are possessed by demons, right?
Oh, it's true. They're
Yeah.
100% evil. The
They
most
crawl-
deceitful creatures known to man.
They crawled out of Satan's asshole for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
One thing I saw, going on to the topic of awesome animals, fucking silverback gorillas are the best thing ever that's ever happened to anybody.
It's true.
We've
Silverback
had discussions like these.
There's a video of the late great Robin Williams, and he goes to some zoo, and there's a famous ape, or gorilla, I guess. I don't really know the difference, but a gorilla named Coco, and
Ape's like the group. Like, ape is like...
Oh, okay.
Like, I think chimps are apes and all that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he goes to the zoo where this gorilla named Coco lives, and he like straight up chills. There's a video of him just like hanging out with this gorilla, and the gorilla is like no sign language, so they can communicate.
Yeah.
And she's like doing sign language, and they're like, she tells Robin Williams to like tickle her.
Oh my God.
And they're like having a tickle fight, and then she like takes off Robin Williams' glasses and like puts them on her face
Yeah.
and shit.
It's terrifying how smart some of those things can be.
Oh, it's insane, man. But yeah, look it up, Robin Williams, Coco, and it's just him
Yeah.
hanging out with an ape. It's the most
check
amazing
that out.
I
thing.
wonder why they can't speak. Why can't they speak?
I don't, because if they can sign language, then they can obviously communicate. So maybe it's just
Well, they have different setups in their vocal cords. It's like
Yeah,
That's
they're
true.
more
And-
tuned for like yelling.
Yeah.
Like an ape could yell way louder than a human could. Like some monkeys are incredibly loud.
You think by now though they'd have like their own language that we could decipher or something?
They
right?
do.
Well, I'm sure they do
They communicate in different ways though, and like language to animals isn't really the same as like language to humans. Like
No, I know it's a lot
we-
more body language.
Yeah,
I
we
guess.
have like abstract terms for things. Like you
Yeah.
can say that something is like a chair or whatever, but
Yeah.
that doesn't actually mean anything.
They don't really need to know that as an
Exactly,
animal.
yeah. But for animals, it's all like really basic, like body language, sign language, you know.
Like cats.
Yeah.
They only meow in order to communicate with humans.
Yeah, exactly. Cats never meow to each other. That was when I found that out. That was so weird.
I'm sure you guys saw that big viral video on the internet of the ape charging at, like, there's like a family.
Yeah, it charges at the
and
glass.
smashes the glass.
Yeah, it's very scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that little girl's just like standing
It's
there,
like
and
a
the ape
huge
just.
gorilla.
Did you ever see that one where the ape just like there's like people painting this railing, and this ape just like is standing there, and he sees these painters like behind the cage, and he just like stands there for a minute, and he's picking something off the ground.
Yeah.
And then he just slowly walks over, and it's apparently a big handful of shit, and he just throws the shit at these painters and like runs off.
See,
Man,
we talk about how amazingly intelligent they are, and then they do stuff like that.
well, they're assholes.
Yeah.
They're fucking assholes, but they're great.
One
Well,
thing,
they don't really have like a sense of
No, God, no. This
what's
is-
Morality.
embarrassing.
Yeah,
It's
they're not
not
like,
like-
I'm making a dick out of myself.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I'm embarrassing everyone, man.
I thought it would be funny. Whatever.
One thing that I find is really amazing to see in animals is like a sense of compassion. Like I was reading about a study recently involving rats, because like, man, rats are amazing.
Yeah,
rats do
rats
some
are
cool
amazing.
stuff. And
They're really intelligent.
what essentially they did was they had two rats in a cage, and you could press the lever in the cage to get food, but every time that you did, it would shock the other rat. And the minute that the rats recognized that the other one was in pain, whenever they pulled the lever, they stopped pulling the lever, and they nearly starved to death because they weren't willing to feed themselves because it would
Wow.
hurt the other rat. So the fact that an animal that's so small and like we see as so like insignificant can recognize pain in another individual and like try to prevent that,
Yeah.
it's very cool. Like seeing compassion in animals, you know.
Oh yeah. And we're talking a lot about animals here, but the Ricky Gervais thing.
Yeah.
I know you're big on this.
Oh yeah, big fan.
Yeah, no, I'm a big fan too. But I mean, specifically, what I'm talking about is so there was that hunter that posted a picture next to a dead giraffe, and Ricky Gervais posted it, and basically made the entire internet hate her at once.
How can you
Oh,
fucking
it's
kill
good,
a
it's good.
giraffe?
Oh yeah,
know,
the
they're
the
majestic
reasoning
creatures.
behind it is rich people. This isn't just giraffes. This has been happening for You must have seen pictures of people with dead lions.
Oh, I've seen it all, and it
dead
makes me sick,
dead
man.
rhinoceroses. Everything. They're just like sitting on their. I seen one guy who was just straddling a dead rhino and like pretending he was on like a
like-
what are they called? The bull, mechanical bull.
Yeah, like,
yeah.
And
man,
it's like, are you a fucking child?
it's like it's a
grow the fuck
fucking
up.
rhino. Like those things are near extinct.
Yeah,
So
but
what they do is they spend like thousands and thousands of dollars to go out and just hunt these animals,
That you
which
have
are
to get a
usually
license.
stationary
Yeah.
and not doing anything
man,
to
yeah.
attack you.
Animals that don't like they aren't used to being hunted. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure giraffes don't get hunted that often.
Yeah.
Like they're not doing it for like even sport at that point. It's just like target practice.
Yeah,
like,
and
right?
they say that they're using the proceeds to feed villages nearby,
Proceeds of what?
like
like
she
their
said,
payments and so to
That is
come and
so
do the
stupid.
thing. Right?
she said that it was a sick old giraffe, and she killed it so that like the locals could eat it, and it was like not welcome in the herd anymore. So it was like the kind thing to do, but everybody was just
It's a
fucking
giraffe.
hating on her.
How can
Yeah, and
they
it's,
are beautiful creatures?
it's not even just about that giraffe. It
Yeah.
happens all the time.
People just
Yeah.
think they have people because we're humans think we have the right to just decide when things die and when things live, and it's fucking stupid. Don't
I'll-
kill giraffes. They're awesome, and they shit and simultaneously walk, and it's great.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
That's pretty incredible.
How long does it take a giraffe to vomit? Do you think? Like, is there like a 2-minute like preamp
Like they're
before it's
just doing
actually?
that.
It's like.
Like when you're out with your friends and you're drunk and you can just see that one of your friends is about to puke.
Yeah.
That's like 2 hours later for the giraffe.
Yeah, because the puke just has to make its way up the throat. The giraffe's like, oh, I'm gonna puke in like
Yeah.
25 minutes. It's gonna be fucking brutal.
All of its friends and siblings are just staring at it like,
Here it comes.
here it comes.
Like,
That
is
would
this
be
it?
useful though. If you're in a club and someone's about to puke on the floor, they could be like, "All right, we got like a half an hour to get him home before this happens. Let's get him
Yeah,
out
exactly.
here."
It's like we can get him to a toilet within half an hour, and he won't make a mess. It'll be incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Fucking yeah.
I just find it kind of
No, it's
it's really
it's
silly.
That's a piece of shit thing to do.
I
It's
don't.
just
I don't.
stupid.
Honestly, I don't get hunting in general. I'm not. I don't understand. I don't get it.
I
kind of get it, but I would never feel the need to do it. I don't. Like,
I've never done it. I think like shooting a gun could be fun. You know, like
Yeah.
bam bam, loud noises, right? Like
the idea of like
I'm a man,
stalking
bam,
something and like you know what I mean, feeling like the predator that we kind of are.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
But then at the same time, I'm kind of a bitch, so I'd feel bad about hurting a little baby deer.
I get
Yeah.
it. I get it too. If you're like up north and you're seal hunting because you have to feed your family, I understand that, and I get it. I get the argument that it's hypocritical to eat meat and then to get mad at people for shooting meat. But this
Yeah.
is sport hunting. This is not doing it to eat it or
And it's
not
not
doing it just
it
to put-
is, but you're paying
No.
like $20,000 just to kill it.
It's
Like,
doing it to put a fucking picture of you next to a dead rhino on the
Smiling,
wall, and
yeah.
for the fucking cool points.
no 100%. Yeah, it's
so other rich people can say, fuck, I wish I was doing that.
like, man, now I've got to kill 2 lions. Got to one up that guy.
Yeah.
yeah,
no,
poor
you
lions.
should never, like, without exception, you should never, ever, ever hunt a species that is like in any way at risk. Like,
Well, I mean,
rhinoceroses-
rhinos are endangered.
yeah, some
as
rhinos
well
are
as
extinct.
tigers.
Black rhino went extinct. Like,
Yeah, black rhino's
like this
gone.
month.
There's one black rhino left, and it has a full-time 24-hour life.
I thought that was a white rhino that had the
Maybe
guard.
I don't know. It's some kind of fucking.
I know what you're talking
rhino.
about though. I've seen pictures of it's beautiful because it's this like peaceful rhino grazing, and then like 4 muscular dudes with machine guns standing around it. Like if anybody fucking touches this rhino, I swear to God.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it's an exercise in futility because it's one rhino. It can't reproduce. In 20 years, it's gonna drop.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
things go extinct. It's kind of just a law, like survival of the fittest kind of thing. But it's not fair for fucking humans to have a gun to go out. Like we could fucking kill every.
we should
animal
never
in
make
the world.
things go extinct.
That's not the law of nature. Being like survival of the fittest. Like humans could go
Yeah.
and shoot everything. That doesn't count. They're talking about like survival of the fittest is like in the animal kingdom. Basically, animals that don't have fucking guns and bombs and shit.
I hate the arrogance that we have where we just, and like a lot of people I know like feel this way, is that the earth is for us.
Yeah,
And it's where does that fucking come from? Where just because we can walk and build shitty cities that destroy the planet, it's for us.
And,
That
like,
doesn't-
the-
we're
the-
not even comfortable here.
The thing is, what we're doing right now, like you know, like I'm not too like dismal about like, oh, like we're killing the earth, but like if we continue like polluting at the same rate, it's not nature that's fucked, it's us. Like
I mean, I'm kind of bitter.
When-
Like I'm not. I'm never happy, man.
that's true.
I'm never happy, and it's because I get everything I want.
When we die though,
Like that's so depressing.
when we all die out, like the earth will keep existing. It's gonna be pretty chill. Like it doesn't need humans.
I think it's just like humans are the only thing that's evolved. Like for like far enough to like
Be
we
cocky.
have tools and shit. Like if it was just us out in the wild, like we would be getting fucking ruined by lions on a daily basis. But we know how to make guns
lionesses.
and houses and fences and shit. Is the only thing it is.
Yeah,
Poor lions don't do anything; they just sit around.
lions are very lazy.
Have
Lionesses.
you ever
though.
seen a fucking like a real like the alpha lion, like the protector of the herd fight shit? Man, they'll fuck you up.
Oh,
See
they're
them
big.
take on 2 tigers, and tigers are way more hard.
Yeah, tigers are like scary.
Tigers
LA,
are the deadliest
LA
hunters
gang
on the
members. Yeah, tigers.
Oh
Are
yeah, no,
fucking
tigers are.
scary.
Aside from us, I suppose.
Yeah, that's,
But it's just because we're
comparison.
smart. We're not
Yeah.
fucking good. We suck.
Yeah.
yep. We're pieces of shit.
Joe, you had something you were telling me about on the way in.
Yeah. This is just like a little bit concerned with what we were talking about, a little bit of like moral ambiguity. Like, is it right to hunt? And you know, like it's good to play devil's advocate with this shit, but I know in California they have a program right now where if you were a convict, like if you were in prison, you can actually get some time off of your sentence by volunteering to fight forest fires.
Oh wow.
And a lot of people
That's
think
noble. That's good.
See, a lot of people think it's great, but then a lot of people are also saying that it's almost like you're forcing these people into a dangerous line of work.
Exploitation and stuff. But I'm sure.
Forcing isn't a volunteer.
It's volunteer, but it's
But they're imprisoned.
yeah, it's
So-
they're in prison and they can get, you know, like 5 years or whatever off their sentence. So why wouldn't they do it? And I
Yeah, but they kind of made the shitty decision to do
See,
something
that-
wrong.
there are a lot of-
aside from
yeah.
the people who were put there.
yeah.
Falsely.
Falsely
Personally, I think it's a great idea because you know it's putting what are essentially like useless members of society, like people who are in prison and we're paying for their existence, but they're
Useless members
well, like
of
I'm not
society.
saying like individually, but it's just like when you're in prison, you don't
Well,
contribute
yeah,
anything.
useless members of society. They're not doing.
yeah.
They're not of any use to society.
We spend money to keep you in prison and fed, but you're not actually doing anything, right? Like,
Well, I get it that it's like you're like property of the state at that
Yeah.
point, but I don't think it's exploitation because I mean, like you said, they volunteer to do it. They don't have to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd be fucking dumb not to. 5 years, fight forest fire. Why?
It
fuck
kind of
them?
sounds.
5
exciting.
year-
It
5
kinda
years is a
sounds
ballpark.
exciting to me,
Yeah,
man.
but
honestly.
at the same time, it teaches them like
They get
a
outside.
sense of pride in their work, and they're actually giving back, which is kind of the whole point of what like prison is about. It's
Isn't prison kind of dangerous anyway?
Yeah, that's true.
Man, if it was like being in a California prison or fighting forest
Yeah.
fires, you can drop me in the middle of a forest fire with a fucking shorts and a t-shirt. I'll do it.
The
I ain't
forest
going
fire
fucking
will
prison.
not rape you. That is something you
Yeah.
can be confident of.
or just stab you in a closet.
Yeah. Oh my god. It's like shocking to me. When I was a kid, I always thought like prison was like just a place where bad guys all sat in cells all day. And then like as I got older, I started to realize like some really messed up stuff goes down in prison. Like,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I watch a lot of
I
prison.
mean,
documentaries.
I think you kind of got to pick and choose the prison. Like,
That's
there's
true.
probably a lot of them that really aren't.
Yeah, like let us remind
As bad as the
let us
other one,
remind the listeners that we're in Canada, so the prisons here are probably absolutely nothing
Well, compared to like California,
compared to
Yeah,
like
yeah.
But if you
LA
look at,
prison.
if you look at like Europe and shit, like I think it was in Norway, but they had a prison where the prisoners essentially got like their own apartment with like flat screen
I've
TVs,
seen stuff like that, yeah.
cutlery, like they had knives and shit, and everybody was cool. They like had a job. It was like their own little city within prison, and they actually learned like life skills and fucking shit.
I know in some of those like amazing progressive areas in Europe that everybody's jealous of, there are like a lot of prisons that are more focused on like reintegrating you into society as opposed
Which
to
is what
like,
prison should be.
And
It
they
should
have
be.
they have way less rates of like reoffenders too, so it works, man. A lot of stuff in Europe works better, but we just have this mindset that the West is like, man, no fucking commies, I ain't
Yeah.
paying your taxes, but their society works better, so fuck off.
Yeah, I understand that. I know in Germany and actually a lot of other places now, I think it started in Germany, but it's a big trend now. It's actually not illegal to attempt to escape from prison.
Because it's seen as like a human right.
Yeah, exactly. You have a human right to freedom. So if you're trying to escape, as long as you don't break any other laws in the process of your escape, your sentence won't be extended or anything. They'll just put you back in your cell for the same amount of time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Which I think's great. It's good that they're like accepting of the fact that people want to be free, because it's like if you put a guy in a cell, whether he's a good guy or a bad guy, he's gonna want out, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
it's just human nature.
yeah, you just got to understand. It's like it's the same thing with like if you refuse to feed someone, they're gonna want food and like they'll do anything for it, right? You know?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like they're taking away a human right. And I'm not totally like against prison. I'm not totally for prison. There's a lot of
I'm against the fact that thousands of people are in prison for stupid reasons.
for-profit prisons in
Yeah.
the States. They're literally prisons that are built to make a profit in the States.
I heard-
That's how their prisons work most
It's
often. It's
absolutely
companies that put in a
mind-blowing.
bid and they make money based on how many prisoners they have. They
I
make
heard
profits.
that it costs more to put someone in prison than it does to put someone through Harvard.
I'd believe it,
It's-
honestly.
It's something like $60,000 a year. Or
You have to have
Yeah.
absolute constant surveillance on them, and even then, it's not enough. Like prisons
Food
are still
and shelter.
shitholes. Yeah, food
Yeah.
and shelter and everything. Prisons are shitholes, and it's just kind of the truth of the thing.
But man, our prisons here have nothing on. I think it was a document. I don't know. I watch a lot of prison documentaries on YouTube.
Let me guess, Vice.
No,
Nice
random
documentary.
ones on YouTube, like
Yeah.
National Geographic and shit. But
Yeah.
there was a prison. I want to say Honduras or Venezuela.
Doesn't sound good.
It was a scary country.
Yeah.
But their prison is essentially just like one big, like chained up complex where everybody can just roam free at all times.
That'd be
and like
sweet.
they sleep in rooms of like 30 dudes with like random bunk beds and shit. And they have a family day once a week where like
Sounds like summer camp, honestly. Sounds
they have
like a nice summer camp.
They have a family day every weekend. I think it's on like Sundays, and the families just come into the prison and hang out. Like it's all like one big. It's almost like if they were in like a university or something. Everybody just walks
Christian
around
school
and
or
chills and shit.
If there's a
yeah.
nice like sense of community and all the prisoners are kind of working together to keep it like a safe environment, I think those things can succeed. But the only problem is you're dealing with literally like the vast majority of them are the most uneducated, the most like violent, the most angry people in the world.
Yeah,
right?
I don't think any prisons in Venezuela have a safe environment of working.
Yeah,
together.
that's. I don't think anywhere in Venezuela. No hate to Venezuela, but it's just like it's not a safe place to be.
Yeah.
yeah. So South America it's a scary place. It's a very scary place.
I went down south once, and I went to Haiti.
Oh wow.
Did
Not
you?
yeah.
For what?
I thought I was a very cool, very edgy
Don't say
teenager.
you're planting trees or something.
No, I didn't actually like technically go deep into Haiti, but I was on a resort in the Dominican Republic because I'm an upper middle class white person. And I was in like my big like justice kick. Like I was a vegetarian at this point, I think.
Gross.
I know, shitty, right? So I like told my parents, I was like, oh, this resort is so fake. Like I'm gonna go see where the real people are, you know. So I thought it would be cool to like walk into Haiti. Horrible idea. I've never felt more unsafe in my entire life, and like nothing happened because I was honestly probably in like the best neighborhood in Haiti because it was right on the border of the Dominican Republic.
But even the best neighborhoods are like
yeah.
very safe.
I don't even think I technically crossed the border. It's just I was like right on it, sort of, and yeah, it was pretty sketchy. There were guys walking around with machetes. People were constantly trying to sell me things like very forcefully. I could speak French, and French is like one of the languages there, so I was able to communicate with people. But honestly, like I was looking to have like a nice enlightening conversation, but everybody just was asking for like my hat and asking for my money. So I've never felt more uncomfortable because it was like I was completely surrounded by people who were 100% willing to like injure me. Yeah, exactly.
I was in Dominican
They all
too.
wanted his flannels.
And like I'm not saying like poor people are bad people and like people in third world countries or like underdeveloped countries. I don't know what the politically correct term is. I'm not saying they're bad people. It's just I understand that they're all like, you know, at risk, and
we would be quick to act like that if our society was in the same state.
Me being like, you know, a pompous like rich white kid walking through their community with like my fucking nice khakis on and stuff. It's like if I were them, I would have kicked my fucking ass. I probably look like a piece of shit.
Yeah. I mean, you usually do, but
yeah,
I want to kick your ass right now.
I want to kick your guys' ass started.
I was in Dominican too, man. It's scary. I remember just taking first of all, their airport is like a big fucking. It's literally like straw huts. Like,
yeah,
they don't even have doors on their airport.
It looks beautiful, but security wise, I don't know.
It doesn't even. They don't even have doors on their airport. It's scary. But then I remember taking a bus to the resort, and
what resort did you stay on?
I was in Punta Cana.
Punta Cana is where I was.
Barcelo,
as well.
Punta Cana.
I don't know the name, but I was in Punta Cana.
Yeah, I don't remember either. But
beautiful place.
I remember
places
driving to the resort from the airport in this big bus. And, like, it was scary. Like, there was entire families on mopeds. Like, every street you go down was, like, if there was a bank, there was, like, 2 guys in SWAT uniforms with MP5 standing outside. Like, there was entire streets that were nothing but, like, lottery shops. Just because, like, that's what caters.
Huge, like, culture shock. I feel like every person who spent their entire life in, like, a developed country, like Canada or the States, should, at some point, check out, like, you know, somewhere that's not even close to on the same level as us, because it's like
if only we were all rich white people.
Yeah, exactly. It's like I'm saying, like, oh, it was so enlightening.
It's bricks right now.
It was so enlightening to go down to the safest place in fucking the region of Haiti and like
resort town with prosperous people there
and get free food and be scared because I saw a mean looking guy. Ooh. Yeah, no,
I went to New York once.
That's fucking scary. That's scary, man.
It wasn't even New York City. It was just like the back spots. It was like nobody on the streets. It was just like empty.
Man, even in Florida,
there's
some scary fucking places. In Florida,
every crazy person in the world lives in Florida. Florida is like the crazy person capital.
The craziest shit comes over there. Like they just take meth and like kill their whole family.
Yeah, like it's like, man, this guy took meth and like ate his dog. And it's like, let me guess, Florida. Like I'm predicting Florida right now.
It's always Florida. Yeah,
it's true.
But even driving through Florida, man, like you think of like America as like, oh, this fancy first world country, like this big fancy place. But even driving through Florida, man, like there are some scary projects with like 6 cars on all the fucking lawns. I remember we were driving through and there was just some scary looking dude standing outside of the project, just standing on the sidewalk, just like for no reason, just standing on the sidewalk, just watching cars go by, like staring down every car that goes by, like real hard, man.
Us sheltered people, we see stuff like that and it scares us.
Well, we're from Canada, man.
Yeah.
Like
we're from like maritime Canada.
But Halifax is like, I think it's the 2nd highest murder rate in Canada.
Yeah,
and it's pretty safe here.
I always hear that, and like I've never seen anything.
Well, there's a few streets you definitely don't want to go down when it's fucking dark.
Yeah, there are areas that I know are sketchy, but it's not like it's like flooding over into everywhere. Like I could walk down like the main downtown streets at 4 a.m. and I would be 100% safe. Like no worries whatsoever.
Maybe, man. I used to have an app that would you could.
Scary people nearby app.
It was just like it was a map of your city or whatever was surrounding
And,
you.
like known felons.
And there were just dots everywhere. And when you clicked on a dot, it would tell you a crime that happened at that exact
Oh,
location.
that exact spot. Jeez.
And it was just
cool,
like
though. That's
just
fucking
like
cool.
car break-in.
I feel like that can be
assaults, blah, blah,
misleading
blah.
though, because like so many crimes will happen in a big city, and like over
There were a
the
lot of
course
fucking
100
dots,
years.
bro.
A lot of dots.
Well, yeah, but we hear a lot of shit about like people getting murdered in New York, and we think New York's fucking super dangerous. But you have to think there's like 30 million people.
Yeah.
Well, not 30. Well, maybe.
I don't
But
know
there's
the number.
millions and millions of people in New York, so I mean that's
Yeah.
not really a good per capita.
Yeah, like a lot of people are gonna die in New York, get murdered.
But New York is safer now.
a lot
man.
of people
I remember
gonna get murked.
No, New York got like a lot safer.
my dad was telling me stories about when he went there in like the 80s and 90s, and New York was a scary place back then.
For a while it was, because one of the things that caused this, and like I'm not saying that people coming from different places are like worse people in any way, but it was a port city, right? So like there are a lot of people coming in,
Yeah.
and that led to a lot of poverty because these people were coming in with essentially nothing, and poverty causes crime. So for the longest time it was just like very scary place to be, a lot of crime.
Speaking of crimes, this is kind of a crime. There is a glass dildo.
What a great introduction.
I know
This
you-
better be a real crime.
I know you know about this, Matt.
Oh, wait, glass dildo.
A glass dildo.
I'm not 100%
called-
filled in yet.
what, is it called 21 grams?
No, it's a gold dildo. It's a gold-plated dildo.
Yeah, no, it's glass blown. And then there's gold plated on the like the handle.
How do you
area.
gold plate glass? Anyways, let's get into
Complex.
what this is.
I want to hear more about the dildo actually, Jordan. Can you fill
Yeah,
me in?
anyway, so the dildo is filled with the ashes of a past loved one.
Oh
or
god.
deceased loved one. I think this is a moral crime in my opinion.
Why?
Because that is the way you
You're
want
gonna
it.
you're gonna fuck someone's dead ashes. Like
That's
dead-
the
Why?
way, yeah. Put it on the mantle. No, that's
some
not paying.
necrophilia
That's
shit.
not paying respect. You put that shit in your dildo and then you fuck yourself with it. That is real. Like I'm pretty sure that's like part of the funeral.
I feel like people would have trouble moving on to a new loved one if they're still fucking like a small urn filled with the ashes of their dead loved ones.
And then you have a
Oh, this
a
is
little-
weird already, man.
This is horrible. I don't even.
there's like this little case that it comes with. It's like a little memory box.
Aw.
And it comes with a
adorable.
brass key
Aw.
that you can wear around your neck on a little necklace or lanyard.
So when people ask you what the key's for, you can say, "What's my special dildo box?"
It's for my dildo box. The dildo.
my
that's
my
filled
dead
with
husband
ashes.
is in this box with a dildo.
It has like a fragrance releaser, or what do they use?
It
to describe
sprays.
it?
Yeah, it sprays,
Sprays some of the
your dead
cologne
loved
of-
one's cologne / perfume.
Yeah,
Everything you
Well, I
guys
guess it
say,
would be-
it just gets
Cologne.
more
I
and
said
more
cologne
fucked
/
up.
perfume, but that would be weird.
Well, you never know.
And
Lesbians, right?
and well, yeah, okay.
Right?
And also,
Cologne / perfume, we'll
your
say.
phone plugs into it, so it's also
Well,
an
it's a
iPod
phone
dock.
amplifier, so you put your phone into a slot. Like it would have to be an iPhone, I assume. I'm sure it's only
Yeah.
compatible with iPhone people.
Classic.
Because
Assholes.
that's the only people that can afford something like that.
The only people who would want to
Yeah,
fuck their
iPhone
dead
people.
loved
The
one.
only
yeah,
customers that
exactly.
fill dildos full of their dead lovers' ashes.
Exactly. So it kind of just the phone slides in, kind of like those homemade. You know when you throw your phone in a cup and it amplifies it.
Yeah. Or
that's the
toilet
idea.
paper roll is a classic one.
Yeah, one of those
Yeah,
life hacks.
exactly.
life hacks.
This is fucked. There's so many layers of how fucked up this is. A, you're filling a dildo full of ashes. Weird. And then also, you have a key you wear around your neck like it's something sweet, but really it's for your fucking magical dildo box that sprays your cologne.
It just blows my mind because I can't imagine the like target consumer for this. Like,
Weird psychopaths.
yeah, like what kind of person has enough money to buy a gold-plated dildo and
No, forget.
What kind of person decides when I die, I put my ashes in a glass blown dildo
Like it's in
that
their
has
will.
a gold trim on the handle?
Like it's in their will. And to my uncle, I leave the Matisse. And for my loved one, I want you to put my ashes in a fucking dildo and bang
it.
yourself with it.
you can die knowing that you're gonna still tear that pussy up regularly,
Oh yeah.
often.
Jesus Christ!
I mean,
man.
I wouldn't be opposed. I mean, I know I'm talking
Wait,
like
what?
it's a crime, but I might not be opposed. I feel like
I'm opposed.
now that Joe has pointed out that point, the tearing pussy
But-
up after you're dead.
Because you know, when you're dying, you think about your loved one. You're like, God, I hope they don't marry someone else. But this way, you know, they're
My-
stuck with you.
Even if they marry
my
somebody
hope
else.
is that there's a possibility that you can get kind of like a mold of your penis blown. with
Oh, that would be
glass.
the best.
You know what I mean?
And then put your ashes in that, and then that's
because I don't want it to be larger than.
oh yeah,
you
no,
know,
that would just
how
ruin it.
large my dick.
yeah,
is.
and then it's like fucking yourself with a ghost dildo with their soul inside of it. And it's
Good
called
solid 4 inches. You know.
This might be the most horrible thing we've ever talked
a
about.
thick 4 inches. And yeah, that's this is
Absolutely
the
disgusting.
weirdest thing that I can honestly say, like, I've seen some weird consumer products come out of like Asia and stuff, but fucking a ghost dick.
I don't think anybody would ever buy it. Is the thing.
You
No.
don't?
I think people will
I
definitely
don't
buy
know,
this.
man. People
I
will
don't
pay
know.
$20,000 so they can kill a giraffe. and
They
take a
probably
picture.
started
Yeah.
it on a They probably started it
I
on a
guess-
Kickstarter, and it got like $16 million in 2 days.
Probably.
Fucking crowdfunding.
Crowdfunding, though.
Yeah, I don't like it. I'm not a big fan. I think it's too easily exploitable.
Yep.
Because you can promise things and not deliver, and you're not really punished for it, right? Speaking of just like consumer, customer service stuff
Speaking
like
of dildos with your dead loved ones,
that. Yeah,
ashes
speaking
in
of
them.
dead people dildos, no, but speaking of just like consumer stuff, I was actually reading about a restaurant that's I think it's in the States that offers like a new service where when you walk in, you actually like tick a box, and what the boxes represent is what level of social interaction you want with the waiters and waitresses. Because everybody fucking hates small talk, right? Like small talk's just
Not everybody.
Yeah, I shouldn't say that, but a lot of people hate small talk because it's painful. It's like, what do you do?
Not if you're like a lonely guy, but I
Well,
feel like
that's the whole point of this restaurant, though. Is the levels correspond to like the top one would be like they're going to straight up start conversations with you, and like the waiters will chat you up, and they'll continue like these long, thoughtful conversations. And then the bottom level is something that they call stealth mode, which is they will straight up only speak when spoken to, and it'll be like quick answers. They will not try and start a conversation with you. It'll just be like very simple interaction.
I wish they had these when you're getting your hair cut.
That
Because
would be good too.
The fucking hairdressers are always like, "Oh, so how's your day?" It's like I didn't come here for a conversation. I will talk to you.
Hairdressers kind of creep me out sometimes.
I've had good hairdresser conversations, but sometimes if I'm having like a rough week and I want to get like a depressed haircut, want to get some nice side bangs,
If I wanted a depressed haircut,
I it's like they start talking.
Joe hasn't cut his hair in years.
Yeah, my hair's very long. I feel like an asshole though because they're like, "How's your day going?" and I straight up don't want to speak to them. So like I kind of cut it short a bit, and then I end up sounding like a dick. So I think this philosophy could be applied to a lot of things. If you guys hit up that restaurant, like how much social interaction do you guys like? In
0. Bring me my food and I'll say thank you, and you say you're welcome.
It depends.
That's it.
Is the waitress attractive?
Classic, of course. No, I do.
Am I getting a number at the end of this meal? Am I bringing a date with me?
Yep. If I was bringing a date, I would want like medium social interaction because I don't want the waiter to like stand there and just like try and talk to us. But at the same time, I want someone else to talk to you besides the date in case it's not going that well.
But that's a new thing too. That when you're like, "Oh, how'd your date go?" It'd be like,
You might want to ditch the date. Right?
He checked the box that he didn't want to talk to people.
Yep.
He's obviously not husband material.
Yeah, exactly.
Not interested.
I think it's a great idea though. I think the philosophy could be applied to a lot of businesses. And I like the idea of like catering to different people's tastes in that way because everybody there are so many awkward people who don't want to talk to people at restaurants, but
That's true.
no one's willing to admit it. Like there are a lot of like social interactions that I'm super uncomfortable with, and like a waiter forcefully trying to have like a nice conversation with me so he can get a good tip is something that I'm not really that cool with. Right?
Yeah, like they're like, "Hey, what are you guys doing tonight after this?" They don't actually give a fuck. They want to seem cool so they can get your tips, and you'd be like, "I connected."
I might
with
not
them."
go straight up stealth mode just because like every once in a while a nice conversation's good, but I think I would go for like lower end of the spectrum. Like they kind of only speak when spoken to, but like they'll keep a conversation going if it has to be
Is
done.
there just a "don't tell me about your kids" box? Because I never care. Like, is
Don't
that a
show
box?
me pictures of your baby.
Yeah, I don't.
That should be like a box that we can tick for like any social interaction
Just for
whatsoever.
life.
Yeah,
For
just
Facebook, that should be a thing. I feel like when you add pictures to Facebook, it's like show only parents. There should be like a parents section of your like
people
relationship
who give a
statuses
fuck
and
about
such.
babies.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
like, you know what I mean? Like single parent.
Yep.
They got divorced and all that shit. So why is there no parent thing? It should be like parent of how many children you have, like number of children you have.
I respect parents hugely. I love kids. I think like it takes a really good person to raise a kid well, and I understand like the struggle and all that. But one thing that really pisses me off is when parents feel entitled because they're parents. Like I see people posting on Facebook stuff, and it'll be like an article about like a suicide bombing or something, and then they'll comment and be like, "As a parent, I think this," and it's like, I don't give a fuck. Like,
yeah.
I'm like, as a fucking
There's parents out there killing their babies, leaving them in cars.
Well, it's just
for
like
days
it's
on
just
end.
an
That
irrelevant.
doesn't make you a smart human being.
It's an irrelevant thing to bring up. It's like if I post and I was like, as a 19-year-old university student, like this.
Yeah.
It's like if it's not, I understand if it's related. If
it's related, yeah.
If the article is about like kids' toys poisoning babies
or
or
vaccines,
something like that. Something like that. Then you can.
Can I
I don't
just-
want to talk about vaccines. Don't forget about that.
Fuck anti-vaccine.
Yeah, fuck anti-vaccine people. That's as far
anti-vaccine.
as I'm gonna go.
I don't
But,
want to talk about it, but fuck them.
Yeah, but if it's relevant to the article, like go ahead, let me know what context you're coming from.
Yeah.
But it's like if it's an article about like a war in another country, and you're like, as a community leader and parent, I believe this. It's like, what? What does that have to do with anything, right?
I recently on the Joe Rogan podcast, I think it was last week, he had a guy called Aubrey de Grey, and he's like a well-respected what's the term, like gerontologist or something. He basically studies like the human body and like infections and like different diseases that affects the human body. And he was basically discussing with Joe Rogan, and this validated my life, that's why I'm bringing it up.
All right, great.
But he was basically discussing with Joe Rogan how like healthy diet and all that stuff is really not gonna like change your life expectancy. Like for sure if you're overweight and like that's gonna change your life expectancy, but it's like the amount of like organic quinoa that you eat is only really gonna add. He states that it's only really gonna change your life a year or two. Like the amount,
That's
like,
a long time for some
He says
people,
it comes down to a lot of it comes down to like genetics and basically if you're lucky or not. Because it doesn't matter what food you eat. A lot of times it comes down to like cancers and stuff like that. It's just how your body, like on a cellular level, works.
Yeah.
So it's not really going to change your life that much. Like the life expectancy in different countries is not like a sense of community and how social you are and like your diet. It comes down to just like healthcare and how lucky you are genetically, in a way.
Yeah, I feel like for me, when it comes to health and like just being active and eating right and stuff, it's more of a how do you want to live your life at the time.
Cheeseburgers and beer for everybody.
I've lived an extremely unhealthy life, and I've also lived a life where I've been active and eaten healthy. And eating healthy and being active is a lot more optimistic and a lot more
Yeah, because
Well,
it
you feel
affects
better.
It affects your
motivated.
brain.
Exactly, right? So it's like maybe I don't live as long as people who act or live healthy or smoke a lot of cigarettes, but
Yeah.
I'm having a more positive life when I eat healthy and
That's
and more.
I was reading a paper on the subject of that about how like people
quality of living over.
Yeah, exactly. It was all about how like how you live like will make you feel better, right? But one thing that it brought up was that often like people will say like, yeah, since I started eating better, like I find people treat me better and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So people say like a lot of it they think that it's because they look better or whatever. But I guess according to like studies, I don't have a single like credible source here, but it can.
This is a recurring theme.
Yeah,
Just-
exactly.
we don't know what we're talking about, but we're going to talk about it.
It can be seen, but it can be seen that the reason that people feel that people are treating them better is actually because they become nicer people, right?
Yep.
So it's like you're less of a piece of shit because you hate yourself less because you stopped eating ramen every day of the week. So then people will start being nicer to you, and then you start to feel, better about everything, right?
Well, like I don't like to promote the stigma that negative people are like shitty to be around. It's like you know what I mean? Because it is kind of true in a way. When I'm around really negative people, I'm kind of just like, wow, well, you're just killing my vibe.
I
But
hate everything, and
at
you
the
guys
same
are still
time,
friends with me.
yeah, like at the same time, it's like like people are still people, and they do need friends that can. Like, they might be negative all the time, but they need somebody there who's going to bring them up in some way.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're a really negative person, if you surround yourself with positive people, you're going to feel a little bit more positive. And the more healthy and active you are, the more positive you are going to be, like we were saying. And when that does happen, you become a more confident person. And the more confident and positive you are, the more people want to be around you. That's just like an obvious thing,
Well,
right?
people like people that bring them up, lets you forget about fucking stupid shit, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it also comes down to just like how people that are genuinely interested in like your life and like ask you about your life, people that are like genuinely interested get way further in life than people that just like talk about themselves and shit.
Yeah.
And I know that's kind of like a negative. That's like a negative trait that a lot of people have. Like everybody is more prone to like talk about themselves, but like the people that you really respect and that like you're really like friends with are people that are like genuinely interested in listening more than
They're happy to see
talking.
you moving forward.
Yeah.
They don't want to. They're not all about getting forward in their lives as much as they are bringing everyone else with them.
Yep.
Not only that, they just make you feel good to be around because you're like, well, someone's actually listening, and someone's not just like a fucking self-obsessed
Somebody gives a fuck.
egomaniac.
Yeah.
Everybody needs somebody.
Everybody
who
wants
gives a fuck.
to feel like somebody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why we record our voices and put them on the internet.
Because we care about you.
Hope for an occasional positive comment. And by the way, guys, positive comments, fucking best thing ever. Holy
The
shit.
greatest thing.
We really want to hear what people want. Like if there's any topics you want us to discuss, we're totally open to that.
Like,
You want a segment? You want us to try a new segment? We'll try that out.
anything.
You do communicate with the people that comment, so
yeah, Facebook, YouTube, anything, any idea, anything you want us to discuss,
like
like
we're,
any
we're really
topics?
open. If you guys want to tell us anything, like criticisms, compliments, whatever, like we'll respond to every comment we get.
our
Just the way it
egos are
is.
pretty huge, so you can't really offend us.
Yeah,
but
like you could
we're willing to
literally-
tweak some things.
Yeah, you could say anything, and honestly, I'd still think I'm the fucking shit. So
Well, so ending that on a really egotistical, shitty note.
coming from the three guys who record themselves
Yeah.
and listen.
You
to
heard
their
about
conversations.
Nepal?
No. Oh, Nepal. Tell us about it.
Nepal.
Is this the earthquake?
Yeah, so I'm sure we all know about the Nepal earthquake that went down
A big disaster.
pretty
Very
recently.
serious
Quite a
event.
disaster.
Yeah.
The death count, I believe, is around 4,000 now.
Yeah,
it's a horrible.
It's like 4,000 plus or something. Yeah, it's horrible.
It's insane. There's been quite a few stories that have come out of this.
Yep. Post disaster, there's always lots of crazy stories about
Lots of
like
crazy survival stories.
people surviving in insane situations.
Yeah, like the survivor that was pulled out of the rubble after 82 hours.
Jesus
82
Christ.
hours. More than 3 days.
That's absolutely insane.
Yeah,
Just
that's
chilling under
insane.
rubble. He was
I don't think
pulled.
he was chilling under rubble, but
Probably
he was
pretty-
under it.
Probably pretty stressed out, actually.
Yeah,
Definitely in a nervous
the opposite of
situation.
chilling under rubble.
a little bit stressed. He was pulled from a collapsed residential building. Basically, he's just like he was sitting there for with his foot trapped under a piece of rubble,
Right.
drinking his urine for 82 hours.
Nice. Good
That's some
use of
fucking-
urine.
He's a survivalist.
That's
he should
some
get a TV show
127
after
hour
this.
shit, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
He didn't cut off his leg, but it's a lot like it. That movie.
127 hours is actually very cool.
You got to wonder, was he like? Do you think what kind of mindset was he in for 82 hours?
Oh my
Do you
god,
think,
that's so long. I feel like after 1 hour, I would like completely lose my mind.
how long till you start jerking it? How long?
I don't know if you're concerned about that at that point. You're more concerned with, I don't know, staying alive.
I'm wondering if
He
you
was in 127 hours, so you got to wonder.
I'm wondering if you were even able to jerk it, you know? Because it's like, what if you're losing so much blood from this trapped
Your
foot?
foot is caught under rubble.
I don't know that he had any.
Why
any
would he
blood
be
draining?
jerking?
I'm
If
sure
there was no blood drain,
it's
I'm
just
sure
his
he
foot.
jerked it. I'm sure he jerked it.
I mean, like
He didn't jerk it.
Yeah,
Why is this
sure,
a debate about
sure.
whether or not he jerked it now?
Sure, this
is a serious
he's,
earthquake.
Like, collapsed, but like he's under collapsed rubble and he's not moving.
He's bored.
But how long before the adrenaline rush runs out and then you're just left there and you're bored as fuck? Like how
I feel
am
like there
getting
would be
here?
like 2 hours of extreme panic, like screaming, like scratching at the walls and stuff, and then it would kind of set in that like you really have no influence on the situation. It just depends on other people rescuing you.
And then it's just like, well, I
It'd
may
be
as well make myself
an
comfortable.
abstract kind of boredom.
Yeah, you gotta wonder, right? It's
There's
just
always boredom in situations. It's like the same thing when you go to war. There's like long periods where you're just going to be incredibly bored, and it's like you know that at any second shooting might start, but it's like you're just crawling around in the mud doing
Yeah,
I
nothing.
think
so,
it's a
like-
lot more stressful than boredom.
the
I don't know.
international.
But anyways,
The international search and rescue team. Basically, we're just running around with dogs trying to look for anyone. After I believe the cutoff time is like, what is it, like 120 hours maybe, or 72 hours or something before it's like pretty much like you're dead after
Yeah.
that like span of time. So
A
there's
lot
no
of it
point
depends on
looking.
like what situation you.
Yeah, so
you're
they
in.
they actually train the dogs to ignore the smell of dead bodies.
Ooh,
That's pretty interesting.
morbid.
Yeah. So they
Yeah.
pretty much are just running around looking for. Well, they're looking for the people that are alive, right?
Yeah,
Obviously.
right.
But yeah, I mean, just running around with dogs looking for the people who are still living.
That'd be a really, really stressful job.
Ugh.
Like
They're
Jesus.
saying they're telling search and rescue teams to stop if they're on the runway like right now. Just don't come.
Really?
because it's pretty much too late. The people that they have now is all they really need.
Oh, geez.
I feel like this is a really morbid topic, and it almost seems like we're making fun of a guy being trapped under rubble for 82 hours.
I'm putting myself in the position of a guy trapped
Yeah.
under the rubble of 82
No,
hours.
you gotta
If
laugh
I
at
was
stuff
in
like
that
this.
position, I would probably have to laugh about it at some point in time. right?
There's this.
I don't think he laughed about it. I
Like,
don't think he laughed about it.
I was in that car accident recently where I flipped the car. We
Yep.
flipped the car like 3 times into
Gotta
a
laugh
ditch
about stuff
going
like
on the
that.
highway. Right, caught some snow and flipped. As soon as I got out of the car, I turned around and laughed my ass off. Like, did this just happen? Like, seriously?
It's got to be
Like,
done.
Yeah, so like sometimes you just laugh. You gotta make it. You gotta just find some humor in it, right?
You got to find a way to make fun of it somehow. I don't know.
Yeah.
That, like a lot of people do that. Like there's this big like upset that happens all the time when people find like crime scene investigators like joking and laughing, and like people all freak out. They're like, "Oh, you're right next to a dead body. How can you laugh?" But it's like it's a necessary part of the job. Like if this people with like the most insane like morbid jobs in the world, they've got to find something to laugh at, otherwise it would get to
True.
them, right?
I think that more than that, though, it's just those people that are constantly in those situations have just
desensitized,
they've
yeah.
desensitized themselves to those situations.
yeah,
So
that's definitely part of it.
imagining it from our perspective, where we've never dealt with that, is not the right way to analyze it, because that's not those people's mindset.
Yeah,
it really
that's
isn't.
true. That's true.
We don't want to. I mean, we don't want to make it seem like we're making fun of anything like that. It's just putting yourself in that situation is pretty insane. It's a pretty crazy thing to think.
No, yeah, it's something that you can't really understand until you're there, right? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's for
got
sure.
no concept of it.
Yeah, I mean, prayers to the people of Nepal.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think one thing that's really amazing about just like modern technology is how much we know about what's happening there, right? Because
Yeah.
it's like hundreds of years ago, I wouldn't like someone my age might not even know what an avalanche is if they didn't live in an area with avalanches, but like within hours I was able to watch like a first person video of an avalanche going down Everest like right into the base camp, and that's insane that I can be like put in that position, right?
It kind of makes you empathize with those people more, because rather than like just hearing about it in a newspaper or something, you actually see first person what it's like.
It's a double-edged blade though, because it also, like, on the topic of desensitization, it's like I've seen so many horrible videos and stuff of insane stuff that it's like it doesn't so much shock me anymore. Like, I think it's incredible to see, but it's like it doesn't really make me like freak out as much, you know what I mean?
because you grow up watching things
Exactly,
like that.
yeah.
And it's
But just the fact that I can, like, it does help me understand what they're going through, and I can actually, like, visualize and see exactly what's happening, as opposed to, you know, like, hundreds of years ago, weeks later, I would hear about it through, like, whatever archaic communication system we'd be using, right?
yeah.
I wonder how long it'll be before somebody tries climbing Everest again.
I don't know. I feel like someone might try, like, I don't know, some kind of memorial climb, like,
The thing too.
Oh,
though,
yeah.
The thing
put, like,
too
a,
about
put
that.
a plaque at the top or something like that for the people
Is,
who died on it.
A lot of the people, there's a lot of people in Nepal that their job and what they do is guide people up the mountain, right?
Yeah.
So I wonder how many of those people are left. You know what I mean? How many would even be willing to go up the mountain
Yeah,
at that
it's-
point? Right?
Well, there was 18 people that died just on Everest alone.
Yeah, on
and
Everest.
that's
It's definitely
pretty
scary.
crazy, man.
Because I mean, a lot of the people that go up Everest are relying on those people.
Oh,
And those
they
people-
get all like the glory because they climbed Everest, but really,
Yeah.
it's the people from Nepal.
And
that
those
are helping
people
them
are
out.
not easily replaced. Those are like
No,
the
they are
Sherpas.
not.
Like those are
Yeah.
people with lifetimes of experience
Yeah.
living
Oh,
there.
yeah.
They know
They climb
where
like, all
where
the time,
where to
skipping it
camp.
and-
The conditions that are right. Like those people are like really.
Yeah, I don't know
you
if
don't
they
hear about
always
them,
go
but
like to the
amazing
very
people.
peak, but they definitely go like a decent way up every time.
Oh, I'm sure they're
right?
like, yeah, you're on your own from here. You fucking
Well, they're
not.
part.
Yeah,
like, honestly,
you crazy white fuck. You go ahead. We're gonna stay down here at base camp. You guys are fucking
Yeah.
crazy.
climbing Everest is like I respect people who do it. Like it's a very cool thing to do, but it is absolutely fucked. Like there are dead bodies along the path. It's
Well,
like
in a way, it's like seen as like the pinnacle of human achievement, like climbing the tallest mountain.
it's messed up though. Like the stuff you would see and like the stuff you'd have to deal with.
Yeah, yeah, you're right for sure.
But I guess we should wrap it up.
Yeah, we
Getting a little overtime there.
a little bit. Yeah.
So yeah, that was Rambler's Corner podcast episode 5. Thank you again for Neco for providing the amazing music for our video.
Wonderful music every time.
Wonderful
Always
remixes.
big thank you to Venesius, our audio engineer, for producing and helping us out with studio time.
A
and
real
stuff like
fucking
that.
sweetheart, real talented guy.
He's listening right now.
He's a great
Hi,
guy.
Venesius.
How's it going? man?
But yeah, so thanks for listening. Again, If you want us to talk about any topics in specific, we'd love to hear it. We want to know what people want to hear about. So get at us on Facebook or YouTube or SoundCloud. Anywhere you can interact with us, we'll be sure. We definitely will read it. And that's us, I guess. Thanks.
Yep.
Thanks for listening.
Over and out.
Bye, everyone.
Stay classy.